And this team just as a whole is just playing at such a high level. And it's led by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Guys, so far this year, he's averaging 36, 14, and 7 on damn near 70% from the field. And he's averaging 33 minutes a game. It's not like he's playing 40 plus minutes. He's doing this on around 33 minutes a game. So I want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, in particularly just Giannis Antetokounmpo and the way he's playing so far, and why I think, through 4 games, to me, he's the MVP. And this team just as a whole is just playing at such a high level. And it's led by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Guys, so far this year, he's averaging 36, 14, and 7 on damn near 70% from the field. And he's averaging 33 minutes a game. It's not like he's playing 40 plus minutes. He's doing this on around 33 minutes a game. And when you look at his game against the Wizards, you're talking about 37 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists on 27 minutes. He did that in 27 minutes. He plays 40 minutes. He puts up 50 points in that game. That's how well he played that game. It's so damn impressive what Giannis Antetokounmpo is doing. And before the season, the way I looked at the Bucks was they have Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's a top 3 player in the game, and he can elevate a mediocre supporting cast. And by the way, I don't think this supporting cast is mediocre. They don't have like a number 2 star type of guy, but this isn't a mediocre supporting cast. This is a very solid supporting cast that he has. And he's turning a solid supporting cast into a really good supporting cast. And remember that if this thing falls apart come playoff time, I don't want to hear people come back to this and say, well, you said that they had a really good supporting cast. No, they look really good because they're playing with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And because what Giannis does and their strengths with their skill set, it's elevated because of Giannis Antetokounmpo. They have so much spacing on the floor. They have so many 3-point shooters. You talk about AJ Green, Gary Trent Jr., Kevin Porter Jr. Just so many guys to even list. Miles Turner's a guy who can hit the long ball, right? So that's where I really like this roster. And I think that when you look at the Eastern Conference, I think maybe we're getting to the point where still very early in the season, right? But maybe Philly gets to that point where they start to separate themselves a little bit from the rest of the Eastern Conference. That's kind of just the way I feel. I think they're really, really playing well. But to me, outside of Philly, I don't look at a team in the Eastern Conference and say, wow, that team is a force, right? There's going to be no Boston this year. There's going to be no Indiana this year standing in the way. I think the only team standing in the way of the Bucks is Philly. Maybe you could bring up New York. Maybe you could bring up Cleveland, right? Those are teams that are, very good teams. But when I look at how Milwaukee's playing right now with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I look at the supporting cast that he has, Doc Rivers is a very solid coach, even though come playoff time, I do worry. I worry. I'm not going to go out and lie to you guys and say I don't worry about this team come playoff time because of the guy that is their head coach. But I would also say Doc Rivers, I don't think he's ever had anybody like Giannis. He's just a different breed. And when we talk about some of the best players in the game, I feel like Giannis, he's definitely, to me, if he's not one, he's top 3, no doubt about it. But I feel like these other guys get more praise than him, maybe because they play in bigger markets, maybe because they're more marketable individuals, right? Luka's in LA. Wemby is, he's just a guy that is just a flat out freak. But so is Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? He's a freak as well. But I think we've seen him for so long that I think people are forgetting how insane this guy is. And remember, the Milwaukee Bucks won a championship with Giannis. If they did it before, they can do it again. And, for that front office, they felt a lot of pressure to trade Giannis before the season. There was a lot of pressure from national media. There was just a lot of pressure in general. Trade Giannis, you're not going to be able to make a run here. Well, and hey, look, I'll raise my hand, take accountability. I was one of them. I said, Giannis, you need to find a way out of Milwaukee. You're not going to win with them. And he very well might not win with them. That take might end up being right. I don't want it to be right because I love Giannis. I want Giannis to win another championship. But if he's playing like this and the supporting cast is playing the way that they're playing right now, it's going to be hard to beat the Bucks. It is. And because I've been hearing hey, maybe the Bucks should trade for a number 2 star on their team. I personally it really depends the player, right? I don't think they have the assets to go get Devin Booker. But if that's on the table, if they can somehow piece that together, that's a name that I think you would have to look at and say yeah, maybe we go that direction, because I think he fits really well with what Giannis wants to do. But to me, if you're getting I never loved the fit between Dame and Giannis just because they're 2 ball dominant players and you need to have Giannis on the ball, right? Obviously Damian Lillard puts fear into defense's heart, no doubt about it. Giannis is a different story because he's unstoppable. He is legitimately unstoppable. And it's not just because of skill, even though he's very skilled. It's because of his physical traits. When he goes downhill, there's not a player in the NBA that wants to see that man going downhill. It's just different with Giannis, right? So I never loved that fit there because when you're taking the ball out of Giannis's hands, that's always, to me, you're never going to be as good. You take the ball out of his hands compared to when the ball is in his hands. He needs to be a high usage player, and that's just the way they're going to have to win basketball games. But maybe a guy like Devin Booker who can really hit the 3 ball, maybe that's a guy. Trae Young was a name that was brought up. I don't love that fit because, again, you're adding another ball dominant player. You need to add a player to this team. If you're going to go add a star, right? You need to add a guy that fits with Giannis. This isn't a 1-2. This is Giannis and then everybody else, right? So you need a player that can make shots from 3-point land. Again, Devin Booker that can play off ball, right? Even though Devin Booker can play on ball, he plays very well on the ball and off the ball. But a guy like that, I think, would fit perfectly with Giannis. But do they have the assets to make that happen? Phoenix isn't necessarily trying to move on from a player like that, right? But again, when I look at the Bucks, they're scary because they have, to me, I'm just gonna say it. Giannis to me is the best player in basketball, in my personal opinion. I think he's the best player in basketball. I think he's better than Luka. I think he's better than Wemby at the current moment. I think he's better than all these guys. He's the best player in basketball. I think he's better than Jokic as well, too. That's another name that I forgot to bring up earlier. I think he's better than Jokic. I think he's better than all these guys. So, look, Milwaukee, credit to him. We'll see what happens when the season starts to go forward here. But Giannis just playing at such a high level right now, and he deserves a lot of credit for it.